While we said that we could each do whatever we wanted, I didn't expect her to go crazy. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Girlfriend and I Agreed to Let Each Other Do Whatever We Wanted on Our Bachelorette parties. She ended up having a three-something, and I don't know how to feel about this, and what do I do? And big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this story truly is going to award this guy the Bonehead of the Year award. This is a guy, he is 27 and his fiancée is 25. And you're going to see he describes her obviously as a conservative girl, religious, all that. Not one he would imagine would ever do what you're going to see she does. And essentially, somehow, some way, they make an agreement that for their bachelorette parties, before they get serious and be together forever and be monogamous, that each of them could do whatever they wanted that night. No questions asked, no repercussions, none of that. But you're going to see this guy didn't exactly think this through, because his idea, as you could probably imagine, of whatever you want was probably, getting trashed, maybe some mild drugs perhaps, and even going to the club, stuff like that. But her idea, something way different than he ever expected. And wait till you see when his reaction when he finds out about this. And I have to always wonder in these agreements, who brings this up first? Who brought this up that we do whatever we want on the bachelorette party night? Did she do it or did he do it? Because you're going to see, guys, that obviously I'm going to pretty much bet, I'd be willing to bet pretty much most of the money I have that this was her idea and she set the whatever you want terms there. And this poor dumb moron believed this and didn't think this through, and you're going to see what happens. Which certainly says a lot about her actual so-called love for this guy. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to get into this more. I'll read the story and I'll comment away as I go. So it starts off, he says, my girlfriend and I are getting married next month. We've been pretty excited about it. Planning is over and we have all the fun stuff happening. A little while back, we discussed what the boundaries are for our parties. We are of the same mindset that we should be able to do whatever we want during our parties. Again, who brought this up first? It's seen to us as the last bit of freedom before marriage. We are purely monogamous. I figured this meant that we each go to a club, hire dancers, or something of that sort. While we said that we could each do whatever we wanted, I didn't expect her to go crazy. Famous last words. And I gotta ask, seriously, if you actually reach the point that you really want to spend the rest of your life with someone, and obviously, clearly they don't understand the gravity of this decision and this step they're going to take, do you really want to be out doing all these things, whatever you want? But then again, he obviously didn't realize this, but she did. She can be freaky in bed at times, but a lot of our you-know-what is vanilla. I've always seen her as a shy and religious girl. For mine, the plan was to buy a ton of alcohol and go to a friend's house, and they were going to go hire a dancer. Well, the fact that he even went along with this, that knowing that they were going to go hire a dancer, shows how naive he is. Because, again, how many stories have I done on this channel when a dancer comes to the party or they go to the club and it gets way out of hand, right? Especially a bunch of drunk girls in their mid-20s. Right? So clearly this guy's really been sheltered and just flat out the bonehead of the year. He says, well, the night came up and we both ended up having ours on the same night. The parties. Mine went exactly according to plan. Of course his went according to plan, because he sounds like an according to plan type of guy. Kind of early in the night, my girlfriend was texting asking what we were doing. I told her and sent her a video of the dancer dancing on my friend. She thought it was funny. I asked what was she doing. I didn't hear back from her at all, but I did receive a Snapchat. No phone call. I noticed that she was with two guys. I didn't see her friends anymore in the picture. I tried asking what was she doing, but I didn't get a text back that night. Well, she was showing you what she was doing. Or who she was doing. Two dudes. I just cannot believe this guy was this clueless. Says here, the next morning, I went over to her place to check on her and see if she was still there. I went in and she was lying naked on the bed. I noticed her clothes were on the floor. It wasn't how she normally would take them off and lay them down, plus she doesn't sleep naked. Huh, what could be going on? It's a mystery. I got next to her and woke her up. I could tell she was still hungover. She was silent for a minute. I finally asked her what happened the night before. She still wasn't answering. And she finally said, "So, don't be mad. You said I could do anything." She started explaining and said that her and her friends went to a bar. She saw two cute guys that were flirting with her and buying her drinks. She ended up letting them take her to her place to hang out, and they eventually had a threesome with her. She explained that she knew it sounded crazy, but that I shouldn't be mad at her. I didn't know what to say. She reminded me that we had spoke before and said nothing, and that all was off limits. I explained I didn't know what it meant and that she would do this. Smack. What a bonehead. Okay? Now, obviously, she knows darn well this is not what he meant. Regardless of who brought this up, that you can do anything you want, okay? Welcome to Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world here. Again, he's thinking, okay, she'll go out and have drinks and get trashed. Maybe there'll be a dancer and all that, fine. He didn't expect her to actually go hook up with another dude, let alone dudes. Let alone two dudes at the same exact time, okay? It'd be bad enough if it was one guy. Or maybe one guy, then another guy later in the night, but actually two dudes at the same time. And this is the shy, religious girl that he mentioned just a moment ago in a previous paragraph. I cannot believe he went along with this. And again, the whole thing, don't be mad at me, or you said we could do whatever we wanted. She knows darn well this is not what he meant, okay? And I might add that no girl that's truly in love with their guy who they're going to marry and be together forever, that's the mindset, would want to do this, okay? Not at all. So clearly, another gal is just, well, get married because that's what we do in our 20s. You know, you got to find that nice guy, which he is, clueless nice guy, and marry him. But if things don't work out, hey, we can get divorced, and, you know, she can certainly cheat or convince him to open marriage, that type of thing. But she knew darn well that that was off limits, but she just milked it. And again, I want to know who brought this idea about doing anything you want and the rules and all that. He goes on, she explained that she didn't see this as cheating, as it was our anything goes night. What a load of crap. She knew darn well that this was wrong, and she knew darn well this is not what he meant. She said she wouldn't ever cheat on me or do anything like this again. I explained that I didn't think that anything meant having you-know-what with someone else, and we were both committed to being in a monogamous relationship. It was just a one-night thing, and that we had already talked about. I agree that she was right. Smack. I told you this guy's getting the Bonehead of the Year award. But admitted to her that I was still hurt by it. She didn't seem to understand why I was hurt. Either she truly doesn't get it because she's less like a sociopath and is unfeeling, doesn't get those emotions, or she knows darn well he feels it, but she's playing dumb. Let me tell you something. If situation was reversed and she just hung out with some of her girlfriends and actually just ate dinner and had drinks and that was it, and he was out and had a threesome with two girls, do you think that she would be like, oh, no problem? Bullshit. She would lose her stuff. And the anything goes thing. Okay, let's look at this. That she thought anything would go. What if he slept with her sister? Would that be okay? Because anything goes? I told her I needed to leave and think about it. Since then, I have texted her some. I'm just not sure what to do at this point. She is right. We did talk about it beforehand, and I agree that she could do anything. See, he just said, I agreed. She talked you into, you never thought your shy, religious, sweet-innocent girl would do this. I just didn't know that she actually would do anything, especially have a threesome. I want to forgive her, but I don't want to seem like I'm going to go back on what I said. But at the same time, I feel like she really rested me by doing that. What should I do? Smack. What do you mean, what should you do? I think your gut knows darn well what you should do. What you should do is end this. Because she's deceitful. Because she did that on purpose. She knew darn well that's not what you meant and anything goes and all that. And again, what would happen if the situation was reversed and he was nailing a couple girls at the same time? Or what if he was sleeping with her sister? or her best friend, because anything goes. But this guy, clearly naive, clearly a bonehead, not a lot of common sense, and just thought too highly of her. And if he got married to her, trust me, she would find other loopholes to get what she wants and stuff like that. And obviously doesn't respect this guy, obviously not in love with him, because you wouldn't do this to someone you're in love with. And if he stays with her after all this, then her lack of respect would go down to like a Marianas Trench level. There'd be nothing there. It'd be like negative. There'd be BS in their marriage, and it wouldn't work out, and it'd just be miserable. So yeah, kick her ass to the curb. That's what he should do. But how many of these guys do this? Now, a few comments, because I couldn't resist having comments for this type of video and topic here. One guy says, I'm guessing you two aren't as compatible as you thought you were, and you should probably postpone the wedding or call it off outright. If you're going to stay together, I think you both should spend a lot of time working on how you communicate with each other before you get married. That said, if you're old enough to be getting married, you should be old enough to recognize how dangerous the phrase anything goes is when it comes to sex in the first place. Duh. Another one says here, this is not how you want to start your life together. Marriage is hard, and going in with this on your mind, I don't see it going well. She disrespected you, your relationship, and your future. Ask her if she really thinks she didn't do anything wrong. Why couldn't she ask you beforehand? I don't know. The thought of being with someone else besides my husband does nothing for me. I love him more than anything. I can never imagine hurting him this way, and that she brought up to you. She's 100% knows it was wrong, and she effed up and is playing with your feelings. This was written by a woman. Flat out said, I would never do this to my husband. She knows what she was doing. She's messing with your head, playing with your feelings. Right there. This is a female commenting. Another one says here, it's okay to not be okay with this. I would derive that the exact same meaning from your anything goes as you did. Having you know what with someone else is really something that should be explicitly discussed, not thrown onto something like this. Well, but we agreed anything goes. Just sounds like you're not allowed to be not okay with this cause, and we set some vague terms for this night. So I think you're right to be mad. Plus, you do get to set a boundary you have, and no one can tell you that's not allowed. What you do next is your choice. This can be your deal breaker, and you can break it off with her. You can decide you want to work through this with her, though that will need some serious work from her, understanding and owning up to what she did and why this was not okay for her to do. And I advise you to go to couples counseling if you want to try to work through this. I'd at least put off the wedding for now. If this moron stays with her, you bet your ass you guys will put the wedding off for a while and work on communication skills, but he should not be with her, because this is everything you need to know about her. Lastly, you can decide to continue the relationship like nothing happened. I will say that I'm a firm believer, once a cheater, always a cheater. I'd bet on that she'll do it again, especially since she's proven she'll do some impressive mental gymnastics to justify her not cheating and gaslighting you into staying. I'm sorry you've been betrayed like this by your significant other. I wish for things to get better for you. So there you go. You got a woman's perspective, different guys' perspectives, but even the woman who had a comment there said, I would never do this to my husband. I love him too much. And she was cheating, and she's messing with your head. That's exactly what's going on here. But sadly, there's plenty of guys out there, hence the never-ending material I get, and the guys writing in telling me their stories and all that. But this can either be a moment where he is reborn, learns the hard way, and he becomes a new man, or like many others, just goes along with it and is gaslighted and talked into doing what he knows in his heart and his gut is wrong, and is in for a very miserable future. Now, there's no update to this, unfortunately, so hopefully this guy makes the right decision, but there you go. Anything goes. Bad idea. It's amazing. He goes out for... Yeah, there was a dancer at the party he was hanging out with, but she decides he has a dancer, she has a three-something. Imagine that. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Do you think this guy should stay with her? Comment away. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.